headlines, shall we? TINUBU postpones trip over Kebbi, KWARA attack. Nigerian troops on mission to rescue Kebbi schoolgirls ambushed by terrorists. Police seals PDP National Secretariat over leadership tussle. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday postponed his planned trip to South Africa and Angola following security concerns in Kebbi and KWARA states. The president had been scheduled to depart Abuja for the 20th G Summit in South Africa before proceeding to Luanda for the 7th summit. President Tinubu, according to a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, delayed his departure to receive further briefings on the abduction of the 24 schoolgirls in Kebbi and the recent bandit attack on worshippers at the Christ Apostolic Church in Ikuru, KWARA State. The president also ordered the deployment of additional security personnel to Ikuru and the wider Ekiti local government area of KWARA State at the request of Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. Onanuga stated that President Tinubu is awaiting report from Vice President Kashim Shettima, who visited Kebbi on his behalf, as well as from the police and Department of State Services. The president also directed security agencies to intensify efforts to rescue the abducted schoolgirls and ensure their safe return. In related developments, several soldiers were injured after terrorist ambush troops deployed to rescue kidnapped schoolgirls in Kebbi State. The attack occurred less than 24 hours after Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Y.D. Shaibu, ordered an intensified round-the-clock operation to locate and free abducted students at government secondary school. Shaibu had directed commanders to act decisively on credible intelligence, stressing that the mission was both a professional duty and a matter of national urgency. He urged the troops to sustain day and night pressure on the bandits until all victims are safely reunited with their families. The Senate has sharply condemned the recent abduction of students in Kebbi State, warning that the incident underscores the deepening vulnerability of students across the country. Lawmakers said the attack reflects a broader breakdown in security measures meant to protect children, prompting renewed calls for urgent government action and a significant boost in military manpower to confront rising threats. We have more on this report.
On Tuesday raised alarm over the worsening insecurity in schools following the recent abduction of students in Kebbi State, calling for an urgent expansion of Nigeria's armed forces to confront the escalating threat. The matter was brought before the chamber through a motion by Senator Abdullahi Yahaya of Kebbi North, who warned that the increasing attacks on schools had severely undermined public confidence.
This kind of terrorization of our students, our children, must stop.
Lawmakers who contributed to the debates expressed outrage over the recurring kidnappings, questioning why funds earmarked for school security continue to yield limited results.
We must de-emphasize the issues of religion and ethnicity while dealing with matters of insecurity. I believe that with a lot of money, funds, and resources going into our armed forces, we should be asking for better outcomes.
We have to ask the military. We give them the support they need. Let us ask them whether they can win this war. I believe that the security agencies should deploy technology. Even from far places, you can locate these children where they are.
Every year, our population is growing at 3%, and therefore our armed forces numbers should increase in addition to the deployment of appropriate tracking technology. Imagine if any one of us has a daughter now in captivity in Kebbi. Will you be sleeping?
The Senate must wade into this matter very effectively and very determined to make a difference.
Presiding over the session, Senate President Godswill Akpabio condemned the resurgence of school abductions, recalling the 2014 Chibok incident, and warned that Nigeria's security situation was once again drawing global attention. Akpabio stressed that the nation must act decisively to prevent a repeat of past tragedies.
Urge the armed forces across board, including individuals who may have information, to assist to do everything to bring those children back.
The House of Representatives have expressed grave alarm over a recent deadly spat of bandit attack in ZAMFARA state, where over 130 lives are reported to have been lost in just 2 weeks. Kabiru Amadu, representing the Gusau Federal Constituency of ZAMFARA state, who moved the motion in plenary, detailed how heavily armed criminal gangs riding motorcycles over 2 and 3 per bike swept through rural communities without apparent resistance from security forces. According to Amadu, 17 people were killed and the agricultural produce looted. The motion highlighted the bandits' imposition of a crippling 100 million tax on the already terrorized rural population. In response to the motion, the House directed the Minister of Defense and all service chiefs to lead a major coordinated security operation to neutralize the bandits. Committees on defense, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, national security, and legislative compliance have also mandated to oversee strictly the implementation of the House resolution. With farmlands destroyed and people displaced, violence is not only a security threat, but also a basic scarcity of food. The House of Representatives have warned top officials of key agricultural agencies to appear before its probe into the alleged misuse of 1.2 trillion naira in intervention funds or face arrest. We bring you more in this report. Lawmakers have threatened to issue arrest warrants for the head of Bank of Agriculture and Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria after they repeatedly failed to appear before a House probe into the alleged misuse of 1.2 trillion naira in agricultural intervention funds. The chairman of the House Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, Chike Okafor, said the agency's excuses were unacceptable and warned that they must appear at Wednesday's hearing or face parliamentary sanctions.
A series of letters and invitations sent out to the following: Bank of Agriculture, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, and the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA, to appear before the last 2 hearings of this committee were met with either no response or very flimsy excuses for non-attendance. This is totally unacceptable.
At the hearing, lawmakers also queried Prospect Microfinance Bank over conflicting figures in its record, while the National Agricultural Seed Council was cleared of any involvement in the program. Police operatives on Wednesday sealed the People's Democratic Party National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza in Abuja, following Tuesday's clash between 2 rival factions. The confrontation involved supporters of the factional PDP national chairman, the Kabiru Turaki-led group, and those loyal to the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. An uproar erupted during the incident, with Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and his Bauchi State counterpart, Bala Mohammed, reportedly tear-gassed. By Wednesday morning, police officers had set up barbed wire barricades to prevent access to the premises. No factional leaders were sighted at the Secretariat, though a few policemen remained on guard. Supporters of the Kabiru Turaki-led faction openly opposed the police's decision to barricade the facility. And in business, Nigeria's push for tighter oil sector oversight intensified today as House of Representative members reaffirmed their resolve to hold NNPCL accountable for the queried 210 trillion naira in alleged unremitted revenue. We have more in this report. As they are stepping up efforts to hold NNPCL accountable for the queried 210 trillion naira in alleged unremitted oil revenue. The chairman of the House Committee on Pre-Shipment Investigation, Oluwole Sowunmi, says the investigation is not a witch hunt, but a national mission to close openings and restore confidence in the economy.
Shomi insists the era of unaccounted export is ending, while Peter Anekwe, representing Anambra East Federal Constituency, urged the committee to stand firm, warning that resistance is expected.
It is our constitutional duty to protect the integrity of the nation's revenue system and ensure that every dollar earned from our natural resources or from Nigerians. Because of the growing evidence of the revenue losses and non-compliance with pre-shipment inspection and export laws, the House of Representatives established this ad hoc committee to investigate the systemic failures in pre-shipment inspection and revenue repatriation of both crude oil and non-oil exports, to identify institutional and regulatory lapses, to engage stakeholders across the oil, financial, maritime, and non-oil export sectors.
At a workshop in Abuja, the federal lawmakers were trained by experts in trade compliance and auditing to better track crude exports and ensure every dollar is recovered.
China has overtaken the United States to once again become Germany's largest trading partner, according to new data from Federal Statistics Agency. Total trade between two economies reached nearly 186 billion euros from January to September, slightly ahead of just under 185 billion euros recorded with the United States. Economists say the reversal reflects the restraint of President Donald Trump's tariff regime, which has placed the baseline 15% levy on Europe exports to United States. The higher duty have slowed Germany's export volumes and added pressure to an economy seeking firmer footing after 2 years of recession. And in the world of sports, Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen will miss tonight's CAF Awards ceremony in Rabat, Morocco. The 2023 African Footballer of the Year has returned to Galatasaray for a scheduled MRI test after sustaining a hamstring injury while on international duty for Nigeria. Osimhen, who is again shortlisted for top honor, is in contention alongside Egypt's Mohamed Salah and Morocco Akam Hakimi. His scan is expected to determine the severity of the injury he picked up during Sunday's 2026 World Cup African Playoff Final against Democratic Republic of Congo, where he was substituted at halftime as a precaution. Despite his absence, the 27-year-old Osimhen remains a strong contender who scored a crucial extra-time brace in the semi-final against Gabon, pushing his national team tally to 31 goals. Also, Eyimba International Football Club has taken a tough start following a streak of disappointing results both in Nigeria Premier Football League and on the continent. The club has announced a 50% pay cut for its players. The decision follows a poor run of form, including a shock home defeat to Wiki Tourist. Management in the meeting with the squad described the cut as a temporary measure, one that will remain in place until performances improve. Reacting to the development, Vice Captain Pascal Eze issued an apology to fans, assuring supporters that the team is committed to working harder and turning their season around. And now in entertainment, the marital drama between billionaire politician Senator Ned Nwoko and his estranged wife, Regina Daniels, has taken a new turn as the lawmaker publicly declared he has no intentions of reconciling with the Nollywood star. In a detailed statement shared on social media, Nwoko alleged that Regina Daniels has been battling issues related to hard drug use, which he claimed had led to violent and irrational incidents within their home. Nwoko stated that he has stopped communicating with the actress and insisted that she should seek therapy as a priority. He also shared a WhatsApp message from October 17, which he described as his last communication with her, and an ultimatum regarding rehabilitation. Senator Nwoko further denied Regina's allegations of drug and sexual misconduct, dismissing them as baseless, noting that claims are products of current condition and cannot be verified. With that, our bulletin has come to a close. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms for the latest updates and reports. I am Praise Adeleke. See you in the next bulletin.